Yes, this is Kathleen with Kal-Ven Tag and Title Service, located at 7000 Bel Air Road, Baltimore, Maryland. Zip code is 21206. Phone number is 410-668-6000. Hours are Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 7, and Sunday is 12:30 to 6. Today I want to talk about paying attention to out-of-state dealers. That is those you meet on the street, to buy cars. Some are hustlers that will memorize a business, a dealership, and then use it to flip cars. And how do you know about these people? When you look at these big dealerships, most of them, when they're selling to you, they don't normally like print their information. Most of them will use like a seal, to print their company name, and then some people will handwrite. So you have to, if you're not comfortable, call the dealership and find out, because there was one that a customer came to register with me. The person had the dealer, I believe, in Aberdeen. It was claiming it was Aberdeen. It was handwritten. I wasn't too comfortable about this. I know how most dealers, like big dealers, not really big, some small ones who don't print, some small companies don't put the seal. Some of them will handwrite and everything. So the handwritten on the title was, my spirit just felt something, so I googled the company and I said, oh, I have a customer here. You sold the car to the person. You should have registered the vehicle. Why is this person here to register this car with me? He said, what kind of vehicle? He said, no. He said, it cannot be them. He said, look on the back of the title. Is the company name handwritten, or is a seal or a stamp? I said, it's handwritten. He said, no, that's not my business. So I sent the customer away. So we do have some people that will memorize. You have to be careful. Memorize, they memorize, and then they flip cars with all these dealerships. Even they will know the company ID number, dealer ID number, and then they will know the physical address and everything. Sometimes some of them might not even print the correct address. So when I get out of state, I will Google online. Sometimes my spirit will feel something. I'll Google that address, and then if I'm not comfortable, I'll be calling the company and be asking, did you sell so-and-so car to so-and-so person? So just pay attention to the title, the paperwork, because here in the state of Maryland, if you're buying a car from a dealership, you're not so authorized to register that vehicle. That dealer must register that vehicle. If they don't have the license to register that vehicle, they have to come on behalf of that customer, not the customer. And when they come in, they must give you the Maryland safety inspection. They do have some of them that will have the title like in their hand, and then there's no Maryland safety inspection. They want to get 30 days. No. Any Maryland dealer that is selling you a car must give you Maryland safety inspection. So that was how I was able to figure that one out. So the title, you have to check the title for authenticity. If the title looks funny to you, don't process, send the person away. Or if you suspect anything, send the person away. Call motor vehicle. Motor vehicle doesn't, if it's an out-of-state title, sometimes they don't give us detailed information. So what I would advise you to do, if you don't feel comfortable, send the person away or work that paperwork in. Tell the customer you have to take it to motor vehicle to process. So that's what you have to do. I'm not going to elaborate more on how to check for the authenticity. You could Google online, see, look, check online to see what that title of that state looks like, and then check the trademark, something that authenticates it. So, that's something you need to research on your own privately to do. So I can't elaborate more on that due to security reasons. Anyway, the next one is the dealer bill of sale. Let me continue on the title. On the title, make sure on the back of the title, on the reassignment, okay, we're talking about the title, so let me skip the, that will be on the reassignment, what I wanted to say. Okay, dealer reassignment. When you get dealer reassignment, if the dealer is selling to you, it must give you dealer reassignment. Some of them will use dealer assignment of ownership to sell to an individual, which is wrong. sometimes that's a red flag for you. When you see a licensed dealer using dealer slot, you know, dealer reassignment slot to assign to that individual, it's not right. They must give you reassignment. It's a separate sheet of paper. You know, they have to assign that vehicle to that person. Some states, on the back of the title, will say assignment of dealer reassignment. Some of them, some states, you know, title will have the title to be the reassignment bill of sale and title itself. And then some of them is separate title, separate reassignment, and separate bill of sale. So you have to pay attention to the title. If you look on the title, on the back of the title, it will tell you all the information you need. If it's the bill of sale, they'll put all the information there. If it's assignment of a reassignment, it will tell you everything there. But most dealers, when you sell into an individual, you must have reassignment. It's a separate sheet. And why do you, the reassignment, you use it too. So in case you make a mistake, it will now affect the title. You cannot use dealers reassignment to sell to an individual. That's like when a dealer is selling to another dealer. That's when you use that slot. That's where you use that section. As long as it's an individual, you must give a reassignment. Or use whatever section that says assignment of ownership. Or, you know, purchaser, you know, like actually reassignment if you're a dealer. When, okay, dealer bill of sale, we've talked about the reassignment. Make sure whoever is signing as the seller, you know, if it's the same person selling, the seller, must, make sure the seller signature matches the seller signature on the reassignment, you know, from the person who purchased that vehicle, from the dealership where they purchased it from. When they sign buyer there, make sure that name is the same seller that will sell to you. Sometimes it could be another person, you know, when they go to the auction, it might be a different dealer that will buy that vehicle, and then when it's time to sell, it might be a different person selling that vehicle. So make sure if the name of the seller is the same name, if the same buyer from the other dealership, if it's the same signature, make sure on the seller section, you know, the person that's selling to the individual is the same signature. Sometimes it could be different, so but make sure the person's signature is, you know, everything looks good to you. So the next one I'm going to talk about, on a standard bill of sale, dealer bill of sale must have the company logo on it. It must have the physical address. It must have their phone number. Some of them will have the email. And then vehicle information must be there. The price, you know, if the person paid cash or whatever is finance or down payment or whatever, break it down there. All the fees collected must be on that bill of sale. And then signature of the seller. And then signature of the seller, signature of the buyer, and then the date that vehicle was sold. We need all that information on it. The next one I'm going to talk about is the lien release. This is a very sensitive one. Lien release in Maryland is all pink. It looks like a Maryland title. It will say this is not a title, and it will be all pink. On it, you will see the lender's information, the address, and then you will have a place for whoever is releasing that lien to sign, date, and print. The sign, date, and print. Sometimes it might be just the signature, and then date was paid off, and then name and the title of that person who is releasing that lien. Some people might come, sometimes they will bring you a lien release all pink, no signature, no nothing. No, they must, in order for that lien release to be valid, there must be signature. Whoever is representing, whoever is signing that, releasing that lien, if it's a title clerk or a manager or whatever, the title must be there in parentheses or whatever. Then the date it was released, and what else? And the signature. Printed name, signature, and all that. So that's one. Another one would be a letterhead. Sometimes if they don't, I'm talking about Maryland. Some out-of-state titles, when they come here on the lien release, you see the on that lien release, on beside it you see the signature of the person who released the lien, the date, and then the title of that person. On that same, that's another way of a lien release. You know, be on that title. Mainland is separate. They don't sign on the front of it. They'll give you a paper, you know, a lien release, you know, like separate, the all pink one. Yeah, they give you that, and then or it could be a letterhead. But like for out of state titles, some of them the lender will sign directly where that lien holder is, or whoever the lien holder is. You will have a place for the person to sign, date, and print, or include their title of the person who's releasing it. That's another one. Then the next one I'm going to talk about is with a letterhead. It's like a plain sheet of paper. A plain sheet of paper like this, you have like on that plain sheet of paper, you must have the company name and then the address. Remember, sometimes the lien holder on that lien, on the title, might be different from the person who is releasing the lien. And why is that? Sometimes they sell the loan to another bank or to an institution. So the possibility of that lien being authentic is there. You might have a different name here, and then on the title you might have a different name. Yeah, it's possible. And if you don't feel comfortable about a lien release letter, call the company. That's why they must have their name, address, phone number, email, or whatever contact information they provide. On that paperwork, it must have the vehicle, the debtor, whoever was paying on that vehicle, must have that person's name. It must have the person's name on it. The person's name, the description of the vehicle, the date, and the amount of lien. Sometimes they don't put the date and the amount. Sometimes, you know, it might have the amount paid off on that date, you know, because sometimes it might be like 1,000 left and the person wants to pay everything in full to get the lien release. Sometimes you see an amount and sometimes they don't put the amount. And then the date the lien was released. Yeah, the date the lien was released, should be on it. And then the date that lien release was printed, everything has to be there. Make sure the company contact information is their telephone number and the address, the company name, description of vehicle, date, and amount of lien. That's, yeah, sometimes they might have it and sometimes they might not have it. Date the lien was released. And whoever is signing that lien release must put their title. If it's a clerk, title clerk, put your title. If you're the manager, put whatever your title is. Kal-Ven Tag and Title Service, may I help you?
Yeah, I was there with this lady about 2 weeks ago with a temporary tag, and I got my vehicle fully inspected, ready to go. I just need to get the full tag now.
Okay. Do you
come up now?
Yeah, come. Yes, I'm in the office. Yes, come right away.
Come up to the office right now?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, go ahead and come.
Okay, I'll see you in 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, sir. Thanks.
You remember me, right?
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, when I see you, okay?
I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so, yeah, make sure all this information, contact information, logo, and everything is on there. The debtor's information, description of vehicle date, and the amount of lien release. Like I said, you know, they pay the full amount. Whatever is left off, sometimes they put the amount on that date. But sometimes they do have some people that must have finished paying the vehicle and they never requested for the lien release. So when you're getting that lien release, it's not going to have any amount there because it's been paid off, you know. So the next one will be the date it was released, and then whoever is signing that lien release. So that's all about lien releases. And then sign off, like I told you, on the front of the title. That's another way. There are 3 of them. Let me just summarize this. 3 of them. Sometimes they give you, like State of Maryland will give you a different sheet of paper that says this is not a title, it's all pink. It will have the lender's information, signature, whoever signed off on it, and then it will have the title and then the date it was released. And remember, the lender's information will be on there as it is on the title. And then the second one is a letterhead. Letterhead must include the what do you call it? It must include the address, the company name, company address, telephone number to contact them in case maybe you question the lien release. And then with this lien release, remember, the letterhead must be notarized. It must be notarized. So if you have the company information, then the vehicle information, and whoever the debtor, the person that paid off, like the person that financed that vehicle, that person's information must be there. Make sure that name on there matches with the name on the front of the title, the real owner of the vehicle. And also, yes, there must be a notary seal. I forgot to say that. Notary seal, once they're giving you the letterhead, there must be a seal on it. Make sure the seal is authentic. If you question the seal, call the company and have them fax you. If you're not comfortable, have them fax you a copy of their own lien release directly to you if you're not comfortable. The lien, they're saying here in the state of Maryland, if you question the notary, call the state, go to the state website and look for that notary to see if that person is authorized to do that notary. Sometimes they say they have fake, so pay attention to that. The next one I'm going to talk about is description. I've talked about the description. Lien release. The next one I'm going to talk about is the odometer disclosure. Odometer disclosure, they give you a odometer disclosure to disclose the odometer, the miles on the vehicle. Both seller and buyer must sign on that paperwork. Then sometimes they give you power of attorney here and there. Whoever, sometimes someone will sign on behalf of someone. They give you that. And all the documents associated with the registration. That applies to both dealers. And then for dealerships, who sell, like you go to Virginia and buy a car and then come to Maryland to register. People like that, I don't like their paperwork. I don't really question it because most of the times it's authentic to me. I'm more concerned about those hustlers, some customers that are working here with the paperwork. Sometimes they don't have odometer disclosure. You find out something is fishy about the registration. So those were the people I talked about. So now I'm talking about dealers, you go to their lot, to buy a car and they cannot register that vehicle for you because you're from a different state. So like you go to Virginia to buy a car. When you go over there, they give you the title. Make sure the title is properly signed. The reassignment, those ones, I know they do their paperwork right, so I don't question it. And also sometimes they might have dealers, it might have a lien on it, so make sure they fill out VR1 is it 217, requesting for a lien to be on the vehicle. Make sure on the VR 005, the lien is also included there, the amount, and then 6% of calculate 6% of the sales tax on that, or 6% of the purchase price, of that vehicle. So make sure the title is properly signed, the reassignment is properly signed, and then dealer bill of sale. They give you a dealer bill of sale. Dealer bill of sale must include the company logo, like I said, address, the price, vehicle information. Both dealer and the seller, both of you must sign on that paperwork and then must date it. So that one is that. Lien release, like I said, make sure if it's a letterhead, make sure the notary seal is there. Make sure there's a signature and then the date it was released. And contact information. Dealer reassignment, make sure it's signed with the dealer number. Some dealers, this applies to this dealer. They have some dealers that will have a W number. W number means wholesale. Wholesale dealer is not authorized to sell to an individual. They're supposed to reassign to a retail dealer, and the retail dealer will sell to the customer. They're not authorized to sell directly. So if you have an out-of-state dealer transaction in front of you and it has a W number, that's wholesale. You cannot process that registration. Wholesale dealers are not authorized to sell directly to an individual. They must reassign to a retail dealer, and then the retail dealer will sell to the customer. So if you get W number selling to an individual, don't process it. The only one you process is with a U. U means wholesale. U means wholesale. If you're not sure, call the state and find out how they give their numbers, because I know with W here in the state of Maryland is wholesale, and then U is retail. Georgia is the same. Georgia doesn't give retail or wholesale. The license they give is one license, and it begins with U. Everybody uses U. I was a Georgia dealer, so it's U. But other states, I believe W means wholesale. So if you get it here in the state of Maryland, do not process. So this will end this video. If you have any questions, please call me at 410-668-6000. Thank you and have a nice day.